Okay, I'm live now. We're supposed to come on to 6:30, but I'm having a little issue with with the podcast, and so I'm waiting for my guest to come on. She's having a problem with her computer. So as well, anyway, we're on right now. Hello, Wolverine. Hello, Cheryl. So great. I'm great. I'm glad I saw you guys. So I did a little something, and I kind of ended the broadcast. But we are right now, and it's great. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Blue Table Talk. I'm your host, Deborah Jones, and tonight we have Miss Cynthia Petrie. She's going to speak to us on domestic violence, and preferably that she will be able to get in because she's having a little problem. She was in first, then she froze, and then she went back out again. So I'll check with her. I'm checking her on my phone and with you guys. But before she comes in, let's talk about COVID. Hoping everybody have their COVID vaccine, and let's get that done. Moderna.
Call from potential spam.
Oh, I don't answer potential spam. I do answer them, but I ain't answering them tonight. Anyway, I hope you have the Moderna, the Pfizer, and the Johnson & Johnson. All of them are in case you want to take them. You can mix it up. I understand CDC says you can mix them up, but if you anything like me, I don't want to mix mine up. I want to take the same thing that I took in the beginning. But if they're gonna make sure that you are 6 months away from the second shot vaccine in order for you to take the second. Cynthia's trying to come in right now. Let's see if this is working right now. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, Cynthia, how you doing?
I'm sorry. How you doing?
That's okay. I'm giving a little highlights right now. So I'll be right back with you in just a few. And so everybody, let's take the COVID vaccine and let's do what's right. Now they're giving it to children that's 5 to 11, and so let's get them started as well because they're all in school and they need the vaccine because they can spread the germ as well. Parents, let's get ourselves together as far as our children. We're seeing that BISD is having a lot of incidents going on since last Thursday, with violence and everything. So come on, let's step in as parents and get our children together. Get them educated as well as anything else. So with that being said, I want to welcome tonight Ms. Cynthia Petrie, and she's going to speak on domestic violence. This is domestic violence month. And so I do want to thank her for coming on tonight, and I appreciate you very much. How are you tonight?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm just good, thank you. So let me say hello to my guests. Hi, Adam. Hi, Kathy, Wilberine, and Cheryl. How you guys are doing? Don't forget to hit your share button on your computer so that you can share so everyone can see and hear or however they do. Hey, Dolores, however they do with their podcast, and we're going to listen to Cynthia tonight. So tell us a little bit about yourself, just a little synopsis about yourself before we get into the questions and everything else.
A little bit by myself. Well, okay. My name is Cynthia Petrie. I just had a birthday, so I just turned 50 years old. I have 4 kids. Thank you. 2 girls, 2 boys, and I'm a new author as of maybe a little bit over a year now, with 4 devotionals on Amazon, and I have a YouTube channel, which is Urban Bread, which is also the name of my brand.
I'm sure we'll get into that later and talk about your podcast and your books that you have, devotional books that you have.
Yes, ma'am. It's a YouTube channel. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. So we're speaking. We're going to speak on domestic violence tonight. And to me, I know what it is to me. But what is domestic violence to you?
Well, domestic violence, it really could be a number of things. We all know about the physical part of it, which is basically, it could be male or female being beaten. But more so it's more common in women. You know, it could be verbal abuse, mental abuse, emotional abuse. You know, it takes on all those different characteristics. It could be narcissistic personality disorders. It could be gaslighting, all of that. And I know a lot of people are probably not familiar with those, but yes, ma'am. Anytime
that
unwanted, ma'am.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I was thinking any type of unwanted, you know, especially when it comes to physical. You understand what I'm saying? Of course, nobody wants to be hit, but I believe if it's, you know, and I know that a lot of people sometimes think because that they fight back that it's still not abuse. But who wants to be fighting all the time?
Right. I mean, mental abuse is worse than physical.
Yes,
that's my opinion.
Yeah,
So,
it's mine as well. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I mean, it takes over your whole body, you know. So
Yes,
why do victims keep coming? Why do victims keep returning or staying in abusive relationships?
I believe a lot of time it's out of fear of the partner. You know, I believe a lot of times if they have kids involved, you know, maybe if, you know, the husband or the partner is the breadwinner in the family, you know, a lot of women sometimes don't work, or maybe they don't make as much money, you know, as the husband. And sometimes maybe they need two incomes. But for the most part, I think a lot of women it's just fear.
Right.
And
right.
and fear of not being able to, you know, function on your own, because it's definitely something different, especially if you've been in a relationship or a marriage for a number of years and you have time invested. A lot of women fear of starting over and being on their own.
Right. Yeah. Adam's asking the same question. I'll give it to ask you. He says, are a lot of abusers narcissists?
I'm sorry.
Adam says, are a lot of abusers narcissists?
I'm not gonna say all of them, but I would definitely the majority of them. I know the ones I ran across were narcissists.
Yeah. So how do you place them in different categories? How do you place them in different categories? Some are narcissists, some are just abusers, some are whatever.
Oh, you know what? Let me just take that back, because I can't speak for other women, but I know the different things that I've been through. I know that they were narcissists because, for one, that narcissist is the person that jealous of every little thing. You know, they're gonna always go through your phone. They're always gonna wonder where you've been, like how long it's taking you to go to the grocery store, how long it takes you before you get home after getting off of work. You know, they'll probably call your phone 20, 30 times, you know. Basically, they won't take responsibility or own any of their actions. You know, it's always maybe what you did to cause the behavior instead of taking full ownership for it, you know. And a lot of times it'll sometimes be, they'll just try to downplay it, like maybe it wasn't as bad as you think, or, you know.
Right.
And that's what it comes just from not really wanting to own their own stuff and making an excuse for it and blaming you and everybody else for their actions.
Right. So you're saying that those type of people, they always calling you every minute and always calling you and always want to make sure they know where you are at all times. And
yes,
you know,
yes, ma'am. And you know, that's definitely a red flag, you know, in any relationship, because I'm not gonna lie, you know, through my years or whatever, I miss those red flags. I miss the signs. You know, sometimes you can downplay it as being, you know, just a little jealous or whatever. You know, maybe it's kind of cute in the beginning, but you know, it gets worse. So, you know, I don't feel like on either end that nobody should have to know where you are every second of the day. And as a grown man or woman, you know, especially woman, you shouldn't have to have a time limit, you know, of like when you get off of work and how long it's going to take you to get home. You know, as women, especially if you have kids, we might need to go to the grocery store after, you know, your mom's house, your sister's house, you know, but everything has to be the way that person wants it, you know, because they're very needy.
right. Are those some of the signs of a abuser or someone that's a victim or whatever? Are those some of the signs of it?
That's definitely signs and red flags for an abusive relationship. You understand what I'm saying? Because when you're not giving that person your undivided attention, or you're not doing just every single thing that they want you to do, then, you know, it really does escalate a lot of times. You know, it'll go from like just little arguments or whatever, and then comes the verbal abuse, and they're accusing you of maybe cheating, or, you know, and calling out your name. And the more you try to disagree with them or tell them that no, that this is not so or whatever, then the angrier they start getting, and eventually, yes, it does turn into physical abuse.
Right. So is it possible for abuser to change?
Yes, ma'am, I believe it, but they have to want to change. I've seen a few people change, and that also comes with growth and maturity, and sometimes with age. You know, they have to change. No woman, you know, can change it. My thing is, that's gonna take a higher power, God. You know, that person has to want to change. That person is gonna have to, you know, acknowledge their behavior first of all and own it. You know, because a person that think that they do no wrong, I don't see where the change is gonna come in at. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So you have to acknowledge your faults and your wrongs, and be genuinely sorry for it, you know, and apologetic for it.
Exactly.
And, you know, and you can't be going around thinking that you didn't do nothing at all and that you're always right. So a person that doesn't change that part about themselves, or that mind frame, I don't see them changing at all.
So do you think that men and women can be abusers, or they can be narcissists?
Absolutely, men and women. Yes, ma'am. It goes both ways. I know that you know, it's more common with women being victims of abuse, but yes, ma'am, women can be abusers also. And also, you know, you have to watch. You know, like if you're raising children in that type of atmosphere, you know, where you're in an abusive relationship, you run the risk of your children being abusers, whether they're male or females, or having that temper, and, you know, maybe always wanting to fight, maybe always wanting to resort to physical violence in order to handle all their problems, you know. Because I'm not gonna lie, going through, you know, some of the stuff I went through, my girls ended up being very aggressive, you know. Right. And it was kind of embarrassing to know that, you know, this is how they figured they needed to solve their problems, you know.
Right. So what happened in that? What happens in the outcome of it,
ma'am?
What happens in the outcome with the, you know, when you say your children started being aggressive? What happens in the outcome? Did they kind of calm down, or are they still like that way?
Oh no, ma'am, they calmed down. They definitely calmed down, because one thing about it, you know, mama can't get you out of everything. So it's gonna be some stuff you're gonna get into. You're gonna have to face your own heat, you know. So you know, when you start losing maybe some relationships, losing some friends, or, you know, just anything like that, getting in trouble, whatever, you're gonna learn.
Wow, this is awesome, because you never know what people go through, or you never know the outcome of what's going on, and you know someone who's abusive or narcissist because watch their actions, and I mean, it's just horrible, really. I've known someone who was like that. I mean, it wasn't with me, but I've known someone who was like that. So she kind of froze right now, and so I'm gonna have to let her know excuse me, that she's frozen, so she could come out, probably go off and come back on. But stay tuned, she did go off and come, and she'll be back on. And Karen, you said the only way they would change is to take place is when they acknowledge that they have to have a problem, right? But do they acknowledge that? It takes a while for them to acknowledge they have a problem. I know if they go see a therapist, maybe the therapist can't help them. I don't know. They maybe can, or they may not. But the thing about it is, do they want to go to see a therapist? That's the thing about it is, they're probably plan to go, and then don't show up. Yes, and I see Karen says they act out when they act out what they see. Yeah. Yeah, they do act out, and you know you have to be very careful with like I say men on women who try to abuse you. Get out the relationship. I know it's easier said than done, but you need to get out the relationship. Get out the relationship and seek help because no one wants to stay in a relationship where they're being abused all the time. And I'm not understanding why they do that. As Dolores said that she said they won't acknowledge they have a problem. Yeah, they blame everyone else for their issue, and yes, they do. Yes, they do blame everyone for their issue, and they feel as though, and they make sure they feel as though that their partner is not on their side, and because they were like they'll be like you didn't support me or you didn't have my back, but yet and still, they if something happened to you, they're not gonna have your back. They're not gonna have your back, but yet and still they want you to have theirs. She needs to come back on and please bring the questions out when she comes in so that we'll have some because I want to know why didn't they call the hotline? Is that I mean they got a 1-800 hotline or dial 911. It's a scary thing. It really is a scary thing because I've known people who have stayed in relationships and were really mentally and physically abused. But they stayed in that relationship for years. And then they finally decide they'll get out. But when they got out, they freed themselves. But then their mind was like, their mind was, I can't say messed up, but they were kind of confused. Domestic violence it happens every second. Every second, someone is in an abusive relationship. So we need to see the signs with them. I knew a lady who was who her husband just beat her Monday from breakfast, lunch, dinner, whatever, and she used to come to work with a black eye. And then I said, "Girl, what's wrong with you?" You know, and she would lie and say she fell over some toys. But I knew what was going on. And I even asked her. I even asked, "Girl, you want me to come over there? I'll help you out. Yeah, I'll help you out." But they don't want you. They don't want any signs of you helping them or anything. For instance, Stephanie Francois said, "I have witnessed people calling 911 and didn't take it serious. So when a person reaches for help, authorities need to help." Yeah, you're right. They do need help, and they don't take it serious. That's even like when someone called that they were raped or something like that. They don't take it serious. So we need to watch this because mental abuse is something else. I mean, it's so much is going on these days with mental abuse, and we need to recognize the signs of it and try to help somebody. When someone tell you that they want you to talk, they want to talk to you, listen. And that's our main problem. We don't listen. Dolores Clark says, especially if you have children, they are afraid they may not be able to care for them financially on their own, so they stay. Yeah, but I still say get out of it. I don't care if you're not financially stable, get out of that relationship. Because it doesn't make sense for you to stay there and be abused. It doesn't make sense. Karen says, as long as they minimize their actions and make excuse for their actions and blaming you and others, they will not change. Yeah. Just like she said earlier, they'll call you all the time, every second, every minute, just to say, not to say hi, they'll make up stuff to say. And they're, where are you? How far are you gonna get there? And what, you need to be here or whatever. They're wanting you around them at all times. Okay, she's texting me and saying, "I'm sorry, I have a full connection." Okay, well, I don't know what that means. I have no idea why it's doing this. Okay, so let me text her and tell her, please try to come back. So, you know, like I said, mental abuse, to me, mental abuse is worse than physical abuse. I mean, abuse period is bad. But when they start messing with your mind, it's something. Okay. Let's see. Let's see who else. I don't know where she can't get. She's trying to get back in right now. No, it doesn't get better. It doesn't get better. I've been there, but I was able to get out and never look back. Yeah. I mean, you know, we have a lot of people that's going to be on here tonight that have been in situations where they have been abused. And if they get out, God bless them. If they stay in there, you know, they need help. They'll get yes. They'll get to a point where they can't they don't want to get out. Some people don't want to get out. Some people, I don't know if they enjoy or they're just scared. And I think that's what the thing is. They're scared to get out of it because the person who they're in there with, they're going to hunt them. They're going to find them. They're going to find them. Right. Beverly says they show up places where you are. Exactly. They're fine where you are and they'll show up. Kathy said they're just insecure. That's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. But the thing about it, if they see that they can take your mind and your body and your soul, if they can see they can do that, they're gonna continue if you let them. But you got to know how to get out of something. You got to know what avenue to take. And you got to know that you're not in this by yourself. You're not alone. Francis Francois says, encourage them and choose not to knock their abuser, or they will steal because you hurting them their self-esteem and they're already at the lowest. The hell with their self-esteem. I'm sorry. The abuser or the abuser or the victim. Who are you talking about? So I don't care. Horatio says domestic violence is more mental and spiritual than it is physical. That's what I said earlier. Yeah, mental is a mother. It's hard. It's hard when you get that mind. Yes, it's hard. Karen says, yes, I was able to get out of abusive marriage after only a year. Great for you, Karen. Great. Because like I said, nobody needs to be in an abusive relationship at all. If like I said, if the abuser know that he can do that to you, he gonna do it. He gonna continue to do it to you. Yes, Karen. All abuse is bad. All abuse is bad. I'm not saying that physical abuse is not bad. I'm just saying that when they get to that mind part of it, that's the worst. That's the worst part. You know, you can do anything. You can go into any stage when they get that mind part of you. That's what I'm just saying, Karen. I'm not saying that physical is not bad. Yeah, don't hit on me, because I'm gonna fight you back. I'm gonna tell you now, I'm gonna fight you back. And then when we get to that mental part of it, Horatio says it could make them feel like that their love language. That's their love language. Well, to hit on me, to beat me, to take my mind. I mean, a lot of people. There are some people who will abuse you sexually, and which is horrible. You know, they think that if they don't get what they want, then they're gonna do something to you and take it from you. That's part of rape to me. That's rape. Does 911 listen? No, they don't. Until things get out of hand, then the authorities take over. If you walk into the police department, will they listen to you? Until it gets out of hand. It has to get out of hand. Let me see what about Cynthia. Hold on 1 minute. Let me call her and check on her. Hello? Cynthia. Okay. So she didn't answer with that. Let me see. But let me see. Let me list some more questions. That's why that young lady is there today, afraid to get out, and when her mind was made up too late. I don't know what lady you're talking about. But okay. Talking about the one where the young man took her away, and Cynthia.
Please leave your message for
Okay. Okay, so Dolores says sometimes the abuser threatens the other person, and they feel like if they leave her, he or she will carry out the threat. That threat. Yeah. If she leaves, he's coming behind you to do something to you, to bring you back. But if she continues to leave, I don't know whether he gets tired or what. I'm sure he doesn't, but in some way you can get out of it. I can't really tell you exactly. I'm not a therapist, or have I ever been into an abusive relationship. But some way they get out of it and they don't look back. I know, like Rosalie Hubbard said earlier, how did you get out of Rosalie? Tell me about that. How did you get out? So maybe she can tell us about that. Yes, they are controlling. They're controlling. But you have to know how to just leave. I like us to sleep peacefully. I'm not sleeping around. Oh, here she comes back in, around anyone like that. Okay, here we go. Hey, Cynthia.
Hey, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened.
That's okay. We're waiting
over here.
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I don't know where it was, but how does the economy affect domestic violence?
Say it again.
How does the economy affect domestic violence?
I think the economy plays a great deal on domestic violence because it tends to be higher in lower income, communities and poverty. And I know for a fact with this COVID-19, the pandemic that have been going on with a lot of people being out of work and everything, that plays a big part in it because tensions are high. That's even before the pandemic, when people are out of work or people don't have much money coming in, that leads grounds for a lot of stuff because that in turn can lead to depression, that can lead to anger issues. You have different drugs that come into play with a lot of stuff, because people are trying to cope with what's going on. I've been in situations where, not having enough money played a part, alcohol, drugs, all of it, but a lot of it still stems from just maybe not making ends meet, and people get frustrated,
Right.
And they tend to just take it out on the wrong people, and most of the time it's the people that's closest to them.
Right. Horatio feels as though the domestic violence is more mental and spiritual than it is physical. Can you see that right? He said domestic violence is more mental and spiritual than it is physical.
I will say that it is mental and it's definitely spiritual because that's when you go into spiritual warfare, but it's definitely physical too. We definitely can't leave that out, but right. I get where he's coming from with that because we've spoke on this before, and you definitely have to be spiritually grounded,
Yeah. So
yes, ma'am.
if we are in so much of a domestic relationship, why don't people call the National Domestic Violence Hotline or to be safe or dial 911?
In my opinion, 911 is faster, but you still have women that are still unsure of whether they want to leave or not. So they think by maybe calling the hotline that they could just kind of like get some help, get some help, get some counseling. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much still stay in the same situation. I feel like if it's gotten that bad, and if you're just basically in fear for your life, then don't call no hotline, call 911.
Well, you think
because you need to get out of it.
Yeah, you need to get out of it, but you think they will help you? Or what?
That's the hotline. Hotline is still on how bad that person work. That person is not for the effort.
Yeah.
You have to get and then when they start those programs and they certain things that do it.
Okay, so her internet is kind
Can
of
you hear me?
Yeah, you keep going in and out, and so she went out. Man, I mean, things that we need to know and everything. The devil is so busy, y'all. I mean, this is a good topic, and a lot of people were interested in hearing about abusers. And Cynthia's back in again. Let's see. Wait a minute. Hold on. Her internet I see it slowing down and everything. So last week it was my time. This week is hers. So Stephanie Francois, what you saying? She says the police department need on-call therapists in certain calls to police for domestic violence to evaluate them instead of police officers, just like they are implementing for mental health officers. Yeah. So, but y'all just give her a minute, and she'll be back on. But this domestic violence is domestic violence month, just like it is cancer and ovarian cancer and breast cancer, but they all coming and they all coming intertwined together, and the colors are purple. So it's horrible. It's horrible. I just cannot imagine. But if you've been abused, just tell us something about it. Come in and tell us something about it, so that we'll know a little bit more. Where did you go to get help, or did you get help when you were abused? I don't know. Trouble is easy to get into and hell to get out of. But we just need to pray for those who are being mentally, physically, and just abused. Period. Because don't put your hands on it. That's all I gotta say. I'm sorry. Just don't put your hands on it, and don't talk to me ignorant. So, I mean, I got life to live, but who knows what would happen? I'm just saying it has never happened before to me. I've never said that it would never happen. I'm saying it has never happened to me before. So, and for those who have, and you got out, God bless you on that one. Yes. Let me see some more questions. encourage them and choose not to knock the abuser, or they will stay because you're hurting them. Oh, they're self-esteem and they're the lowest. Okay. Adam says, where has she gone? She's having an internet problem, so just bear with us. Karen says, as long as they minimize their actions and make excuses for their actions and blaming you and others, they will not change. No, they won't. They won't. They won't. They won't. Horatio says, thank you for representing for the men. Okay. So when she comes back in, y'all just keep the questions going. And we'll learn more about it. And by the way, while she's out right now, let me go ahead and give some announcements that voting is still going on right now. If you have not voted, please go and vote, because they're voting on the propositions, so amendments. And so early voting is going on right now. The election day is November 2nd. They have like 8 amendments that you need to vote on. In my opinion, you can go ahead and vote for all of them. Say yes for all of them, except for number 4. Say no for number 4. That's my opinion. Now, if you want to read them, go ahead and read them and go ahead and vote. But we need to vote, because they're saying there's a low turnout, and every time they have something going on, we need to vote on it. So early voting is going on right now. I do teach a line dance class, and tomorrow is my last day teaching it for the outside part of it. I will bring it inside, where you can check me out on Facebook starting in 2 weeks. After that, just look for me in 2 weeks, and I will on my Facebook page, and we'll do our line dancing through there. I don't think there are any more announcements. Horatio said, what about women? What about women that have been abused so much that they start expect it as the norm? That's what we talked about earlier. Some women just take it and just figure, hey, that's how this friend was. She stayed in there, and I kept telling girl, you need to leave him, and she was saying no, she loved him. Girl, that's not love. That's not love. And my dad used to say all the time, if you got to put your hands on her, bring her home. Don't stand there and hit on my child. That's what my dad used to tell guys, especially when we got ready to get married. She says, keep pushing. She says she's so embarrassed by coming back home. And I'm not the best typer. One word at a time. One letter at a time. Okay. I have to keep pushing. Anyway, especially when we got to get married, and and before when they asked, can we marry your daughter or whatever, he said, you can. He said, but if you got to put your hands on her, bring her home. Send her home. I didn't hit her, and I'd be doggone if you'd put your hands on her. So that's why I said I never. I mean, fathers just say that all they want, and then the person, he or she is gonna still abuse. Because, like you said, women abuse men just like men abuse women. So it's no men abuse women all the time. It's intertwined. So one of my questions was, can domestic violence happen to anyone? The answer is yes. It can happen to anybody. I mean, are children hit too? Sometimes. Dolores Clark says, my daddy said, if you hit her, you better make sure the police get there before me. Otherwise, the coroner needs to show up. Yeah. My dad, my dad had a crooked, we used to say, daddy got a crooked pistol. He gonna come after you. So I do remember one time I was in the incident, and I've always been the type of person that I was a fighter. I ain't gonna lie. I was a fighter. And so I was dating this guy. So the girl showed up, and it was all three of us. We were in the altercation, but he didn't hit me, neither did she hit me, because I was the one doing the swinging. And so she called her family to come over. And you know me, everybody know me, know I'm gonna talk. You better bring the whole army, because when they get here, everybody gonna get a piece of me. So anyway, my girlfriend, who did not stay there with me at the time, dropped me off. She went to my house and got my dad. And my dad got in his car, come over to the guy's house. And the only thing stopped my dad from getting there, because I done already took his car and left and was going home, joyriding. And the only thing that stopped my dad was the train on the track, because he had his pistol and everything ready to go. And by the time the train got off the track, we was crossing each other at the same time. And I blew my horn at him, and then he stopped, and I said, where you going? And so he said, I was coming to get you. So I said, oh, okay, I'm good. Let's take the car home. Well, the police came to the house, so far, so on. And she's back. And the end of the story was nobody got hurt. She's getting ready to come back on again. So most definitely, I experienced that my last marriage. She tried to cut my throat, wanted to fight, and if a woman smiled at me, what? I mean, it's horrible. You see, Cynthia, she's trying to come on again, so she's not in yet, but she's trying to get in. Like I said, it doesn't happen. It's not just man thing. Women are, abusers as well as men, because like I used to always say, you hit me, you're gonna draw back a nub. Otherwise, don't put your hands on me. I mean, I was pregnant, still fighting. My husband said one time, I thought I married a woman. I didn't know I married a man. I'm gonna fight you. But I don't fight anymore. I ain't got too old to fight. Unless you put your hands on me. I'm not gonna abuse you. I'm just gonna take up for myself, put it like that. But what are some of the signs the abusers had? I mean, Horatio, you here? What were some of the signs she had when she tried to cut your throat? If you looked at another woman, what did she just come out and did she just come out and just holler at you, scream at you, or what did she do? Tell me about it. Don't nobody could see your face, but we got your name, but nobody knows see your face. But what did that lady do to you? What? Oh, Rachel Shirley LeBlanc says that lady was crazy. So here she comes. Let's see. I apologize for her, but it's her computer. Thank you, Cheryl, because she still spelled it wrong. Anyway, what would they do if they thought? You see on TV all the time where they hit the wife and hit the children, and all the children jump in and they try to get out. Okay, here she is. Let's see. There she is. Cynthia. It's not going to happen tonight. Cynthia, can you hear me? It's just not going to happen. I'm gonna have to bring her on another time. She do have like 15 more minutes. I'm gonna have to bring her on another time. So when I do, y'all just come back on and listen and listen to it, because she went back out. I knew she was gonna go back out again. Horatio, how was your relationship affected, and how you feel about yourself when your girlfriend or wife or whomever she was abused you, try to cut your throat or whatever? How were you affected in your relationship? And I think Miss Hubbard, how were you affected in your relationship? Or you just got up and left? Or you made it out just in time? Because you never know what a person's mind, how a person's mind might act. So let me see. Hold up. Let me see if I can get her. It's wherever she is located. I think the next time I come back on, which will be November 16th, I'll be back on with the Charlton Paula Neighborhood Association with Chris Jones. So I'll be on with him on November 16th, and I probably will have another platform. I'm gonna see if that has something to do with the platform or not. But we'll still be coming back on. And so I'm gonna interview him. Rachel said this is what Horatio said. It ended my marriage and separated my son from his mother. Oh, so you have a child. Yeah. Yeah. Because you proved that she was unfit because of what she did. Wow. And I hope your son is fine, because it affects children. I know it affects children because I worked in the school district, and I know how it affects children. And so, oh, I'm sorry. You there?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Girl, it ain't nothing but the devil, girl. We're gonna have
That's
to
what I'm saying. I'm like, this ain't nothing but the devil. I never had this happen.
Yeah. So I've been talking to them, and we've been patiently waiting. So I'm glad you're back on. I'm glad you're back on. So I was wondering, does it affect the abuse affect kids also? Do it hit kids?
You said it affect the kids? I'm sorry.
Does it affect you, or do they hit the children, and does it affect them?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
The abuser, when they go on their rage, do they hit the children as well?
Oh, in the, different things that I've gone through, I've never had, nobody hit my kids or beat on my kids. I do know that it is possible, and I do know that it does happen, but I haven't myself personally experienced it.
Tell us some of the things that you've gone through.
Okay. The main thing that I've gone through was pretty much verbal and mental, and emotional. And like we all said, that could be even worse, like more damaging than just physical, because it leaves a longer lasting effect. it can turn into PTSD. You know, I've been through a relationship with a narcissistic partner. I've gone through like the gaslighting or whatever. I've also been involved, you know, when it had alcohol involved and drugs involved. And I've been verbally abused, like just cursed from A to Z, you know, called out my name so many times. Had a partner that just wasn't supportive of nothing that I did. Got to the point to where it's trying to tell me what to wear, how I should look, and just downplay basically everything that I did. And I'm not gonna lie, I went through a depression for a minute, because you always wonder, like, what am I doing wrong? If it's something that I'm doing, and I even went to, as far as changing up my appearance, and because, it can bring your self-esteem down. It can, mess with your confidence, because who doesn't want their husband, you know what I'm saying, to look at them in a certain way, or to think that they're beautiful, or to think highly of them or whatever. Like, nobody wants a partner that's going to always point out your flaws, or point out, you know what I'm saying, all of the negative stuff or whatever. Like, you never do nothing right. And I've been through all of that stuff,
Right.
So, yeah, I'm on the come up now.
Huh?
I said I'm on the come up now. But, during my very first marriage, I had more of the physical,
Right.
and I got out of it. I was young. We were in our early 20s when we first got married, and had kids and everything. And I kind of like went straight out of my living with my dad, because my dad raised me, to getting married, never living with a man, never just, being in that type of relationship, because my first real relationship, I got married,
Right.
And we went through a lot. And I can say that person is not the same no more, but look at how old we are now. I'm 50 now,
Right.
But in the early 20s, I went through more of the physical. And don't get me wrong, I'm very aggressive. Like, I am a fighter, but still in all, who wants to have to fight every single time?
Right. So do you still talk to him, or what? Oh, Rachel, I'm sorry. I need to take that off. So thank you for those comments, Rachel. It's touching, because, like I said, children go through a lot when they see their parents doing something. Because I remember when I was teaching, and how the kids would come to school and say, my dad hit my mom last night, or my mom, you have to tell them, don't tell people your business or whatever. But they say, Miss Jones, my dad came home last night and police picked him up. Blah, blah, blah. You can't do that. That's devastating to these kids. That's why we having so much whatever in these schools now, because they see so much, they hear so much, and their parents are doing so much. So yeah, even though my first marriage, even though I raised my children, my ex-husband, we never fussed around the children. But if we want to argue, and we did argue, we made sure that the children were not around us when we argued. So that was a good thing. I know they didn't go to school and say my mom and dad was fussing. They didn't know. But yeah, get out of the relationship. If you know it's abusive, get out of it. Get out of it. Yes, Karen, it does. Karen said yes, it does affect children very much, very much, very much. So we're gonna be ending this program, this podcast, pretty soon. And I do want you to know that Cynthia has some books, and she's going to talk about her projects and stuff like that. And I'm gonna have to bring her on another time, because I do want this out. Whether it's Violence Month or whatever. The month is almost over. This is the end of October, and so I'm gonna have to bring it out another time. Horatio, thank you for coming on and talk to us about your relationship. And Rosalie, thank you for saying you were in the same predicament, but you got out of it. And I think it was one more person who said they were a victim of a relationship like that. But whoever was and you got out of it, it was nothing but grace that got you out of there. And so continue to take control of yourself. If you even date again or whatever, if you still dating and you still think that you're in that relationship, get out of it. And if you ever date again and you feel as though this guy is gonna be narcissistic or this girl is gonna be the same thing, get out of it. We need to help one another. Let's help one another. If I come to you and say I need to talk to you, listen. Because that's why we have people who are gone on mental extravaganzas, and with the, if I coulda, shoulda, woulda. And if you was there when I wanted you to be there, you don't have to say that. So anyway, I'm gonna bring her back on another time, and I'm gonna go ahead and shut it down. God bless you. God keep it. Thank you for coming on tonight. And I appreciate you. Remember that we are still in the voting stage. So go out and vote. I know some of you say, I don't want to vote for those amendments. You need to vote for the amendments. Trust me, you need to vote for them. I'll say yes to all. Karen says, I got out of an abusive marriage. Oh, that was Karen. Yeah, that's who I was talking about, because I knew it was one more person who said it was an abusive marriage, and that was you, Karen. And kudos to you for getting out of it. And maybe one day I could bring you, Cynthia, and everybody else, Horatio, all you guys who are in abusive relationships or marriages, and we could all come on the podcast and talk about it. That's up to you. That's up to you. So with that being said, like I said, don't forget to vote. The polls are open from 8 to 5:30, 8 to 5, and don't forget to vote. Election day, it's open from 7 to 7. I think Friday and Saturday this week is open from 7 to 7. But don't forget to vote for the amendment. Vote for everything, yes. Number 4, no. Okay, I gave you the props, so you got it. Don't forget, if you were in my line dance class, line dance tomorrow, and we're going to end it for the line dancing in the streets, and we're going to go on Facebook and start November 16th. I think it's November 16th. No, 17th. Well, whatever that Wednesday is in that week. No, that Monday. I'll post it. And then don't forget, November 16th is when Charter Park Neighborhood Association will be on with Christopher Jones, and he is the president of the Charter Park Neighborhood Association. And so, which is a strong association. Not because it's named Charter Park, y'all, those Hebrew fans, not because it is a strong neighborhood. It's very rich and very rich. And so we're going to talk to them and him and see, talk about everything and get them on here. Let's see what's going on. Now, if I knew anybody who was in the Hebrew Association, Panther Association, I would bring them on also. But let me know, Hebrew fan. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you for coming on tonight. God bless you. God keep you as my prayer. And if there's anything I can do for you, I'm here for you. And I'll see you when I see you. I'll be back on in November. Thank you. Bye. Smoochie. If I can help somebody that I pass along the way, then I know that my living is not in vain. Smooches.